If you're over 60, you may think your blood test results tell the full story about your health, but that's not always true. Many seniors walk into the lab healthy only to leave with results that make it seem like something is terribly wrong. The surprising part? Often it's not the body that's failing, it's small, avoidable mistakes made just hours before the test. These errors can create numbers that mislead doctors, trigger unnecessary prescriptions, and leave you stressed over problems you don't really have. Knowing what not to do before your test could be the key to protecting your peace of mind, your independence, and your future health decisions. Today, you'll discover 7 common mistakes seniors make before blood tests, 2 surprising habits that almost everyone overlooks, and 1 doctor-approved step that ensures your results are accurate. Each one could mean the difference between a clear diagnosis and unnecessary stress. And make sure you stay until the very end. The final mistake is the one almost no one talks about, yet it can change everything. If you find this valuable, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more practical health advice after 60. Mistake 1. Eating the wrong foods before a fasting test. One of the most overlooked mistakes seniors make before a blood test is eating or drinking the wrong thing. It may not seem like much, just a bite of toast, a sip of juice, or even a splash of milk in your morning coffee, but these tiny actions can change your results more than you think. Blood work, especially fasting tests, is extremely sensitive to what you consume, and the numbers can swing dramatically even if you haven't had a full meal. When a doctor orders a fasting test, it usually means they want to see your body's baseline levels without the influence of food or drink. For example, glucose, cholesterol, and triglycerides are some of the most commonly checked markers that require fasting. The moment you eat, even a small snack, your body starts breaking down sugars and fats which enter your bloodstream. That quick bite you thought was harmless can suddenly raise your blood sugar or cholesterol levels, and when the results come back, it might look like you're at risk for diabetes or heart disease. Imagine this. A senior named Harold went for his routine checkup. He was told to fast, but thought black coffee with a spoonful of sugar didn't count. When his results came back, his blood sugar looked dangerously high, and his doctor suggested he might need medication for diabetes. The problem? Harold didn't have diabetes at all. His test had been skewed by that little bit of sugar. He later repeated the test correctly, and his numbers were perfectly normal, but the stress, fear, and even the unnecessary conversation about starting lifelong medication could have been avoided. This is why clarity is so important. Many people are told to fast but aren't given clear instructions. Does that mean no food, no coffee, just water? Here's the truth. Unless your doctor specifies otherwise, fasting means no calories at all. That means no food, no juice, no cream in your coffee, no alcohol, and not even sugar-free gum. The only safe choice is plain water. It's also important to understand how long to fast. Most tests require 8 to 12 hours of fasting. If your appointment is at 9 a.m., that usually means no eating or drinking except water after 9 p.m. the night before. Seniors sometimes make the mistake of skipping breakfast but still having a late-night snack, not realizing that it can throw off the test. Your body is still processing what you ate hours ago, and that will show up in the results. Another challenge for older adults is managing medications alongside fasting. Some seniors are hesitant to skip their morning pill and wash it down with a little juice. But even that juice counts as breaking the fast. The solution here is simple. Always ask your doctor which medications must be taken before the test and which can wait until after. Most doctors will guide you carefully, especially if fasting is required. The consequences of eating the wrong foods before a test go beyond numbers on a page. They can lead to unnecessary stress, additional testing, repeat lab visits, or even misdiagnosis. Doctors make decisions based on what they see, and if those numbers aren't accurate, you might end up being treated for a condition you don't actually have. That means extra prescriptions, extra costs, and extra anxiety. The good news? This is one of the easiest mistakes to avoid. All it takes is a little preparation. The night before your test, have a balanced dinner, nothing too heavy or greasy, and then stick to water until your appointment. Keep yourself busy in the morning to avoid temptation. Go for a light walk, read, or prepare something fun to do after your test. Remind yourself, this short fasting period is not about restriction, it's about ensuring your results reflect your true health. Here's a simple takeaway for seniors. Fasting really means water only. No snacks, no flavored drinks, no just a sip of anything else. If in doubt, always check with your healthcare provider. A quick phone call for clarification is far better than dealing with weeks of confusion, worry, or unnecessary treatment. By avoiding this first mistake, you set yourself up for results that truly reflect your health, giving your doctor the right information to guide your care. And more importantly, you avoid the stress of chasing problems that aren't really there. Have you ever been caught off guard by fasting instructions before a blood test? Share your story in the comments. You might just help someone else avoid the same mistake. Mistake 2. Over-exercising the night before. Exercise is one of the best things you can do for your body, especially as you grow older. It keeps your heart strong, your joints flexible, and your mind clear. But here's something most people don't realize. Pushing yourself too hard the night before a blood test can actually distort your results. What was meant to be a positive routine could end up making your numbers look worse than they really are. When you exercise intensely, whether it's a long brisk walk, climbing stairs, lifting weights, or even gardening late into the evening, your muscles release enzymes into your bloodstream. One of these is called creatine kinase, or CK. In normal amounts, CK isn't a problem, but after strenuous activity, it can rise to levels that mimic muscle damage. For seniors, this can be especially concerning because high CK levels are sometimes associated with heart attacks or muscle disorders. Imagine going in for a simple blood test and having your doctor alarmed because your results suggest possible heart issues, all because you took a long, energetic walk the night before. Exercise also temporarily affects blood sugar, cholesterol, and even liver enzyme levels. After a hard workout, your muscles pull sugar from your blood to use as energy, which may cause your glucose readings to look unusually low. At the same time, certain fats are mobilized, which can alter cholesterol and triglyceride measurements. While these changes are temporary and part of the body's natural process, they can trick your doctor into thinking something is wrong, or worse, hide an actual problem that needs attention. Let's take a relatable example. Imagine a woman named Irene who loved doing her evening aerobics class at the community centre. The night before her annual blood test, she pushed herself harder than usual. The next morning, her results showed elevated liver enzymes and CK levels. Her doctor became concerned about potential liver damage and suggested more tests. Weeks later, after repeating the blood work with no exercise beforehand, everything came back normal. The stress, extra costs, and unnecessary worry could have been avoided with one simple adjustment: resting before the test. This doesn't mean seniors should avoid activity altogether. Gentle movement the day before is perfectly fine. In fact, light activity helps circulation, keeps joints from stiffening, and can even improve mood. What you should avoid is strenuous or long-lasting exercise the evening before your test. Instead of a long uphill walk, try a calm stroll around your neighborhood. Instead of lifting heavy items or doing a demanding workout, do some gentle stretching or relaxation exercises. These alternatives keep you active without placing stress on your muscles that could interfere with your results. Another point to consider is recovery time. As we age, our bodies take longer to recover from exercise. What might have been a routine workout in your younger years could now leave your muscles sore and your enzymes elevated for a full day or more. That's why seniors are especially vulnerable to this mistake. Even an activity that feels moderate, like an extra hour of walking, can still register in your blood work as stress on the body. The solution is simple. Plan ahead. If you know you have a blood test scheduled, give your body a rest the night before. Stick to light activities and avoid anything that leaves you sweating heavily or feeling fatigued. Think of it as giving your body the chance to reset so your test reflects your natural, rested state. The benefit of avoiding this mistake is enormous. Your doctor will see your real baseline numbers. your true blood sugar, cholesterol, liver and muscle enzyme levels without interference. This means fewer repeat tests, less confusion, and no unnecessary scares about conditions you don't actually have. It also means you can continue exercising with confidence, knowing that when it comes time for testing, your efforts to stay active aren't accidentally working against you. Here's the bottom line for seniors. Exercise is essential for long-term health, but the night before a blood test is not the time to push your limits. Save the workout for after your appointment, when you can celebrate knowing your results are as accurate as possible. Do you usually stay active right before your blood tests, or do you rest the night before? Share what works best for you. It could help others find the right balance. Mistake 3. Not drinking enough water. It might surprise you, but one of the simplest and most common mistakes seniors make before a blood test is showing up dehydrated. Water may seem like a small detail, but when you don't drink enough, it can seriously affect both the accuracy of your results and the comfort of the blood draw itself. When your body is low on fluids, your blood becomes thicker. This makes it harder for the nurse or technician to find a vein and collect the sample. What should be a quick procedure can turn into multiple needle sticks, which is uncomfortable, stressful, and completely avoidable. Beyond that, dehydration can skew certain results, particularly kidney function tests. These tests often look at markers like creatinine and blood urea nitrogen, or BUN. When you're dehydrated, these levels may appear higher than they really are, suggesting kidney problems that might not actually exist. Seniors are especially at risk for this mistake. As we age, the natural sense of thirst becomes less reliable. You might not feel thirsty even when your body needs water. On top of that, many older adults purposely limit fluids to avoid frequent trips to the bathroom, especially at night. While this is understandable, it can lead to mild dehydration that goes unnoticed until it interferes with something important, like your lab work. Here's an example. A man named Louis avoided drinking much water in the mornings because he didn't want to bother with bathroom breaks. When he went in for his routine test, the technician had difficulty drawing his blood, and his results showed kidney values that looked concerning. His doctor scheduled further testing, and Louis spent weeks worrying about his kidneys. Later, when he returned properly hydrated, his numbers were completely normal. All of that anxiety could have been prevented with something as simple as a glass of water. The fix is straightforward. In the hours leading up to your blood test, drink water. Not excessive amounts, just 1 or 2 glasses is usually enough. A good rule of thumb is to drink a full glass about an hour before your appointment. This helps keep your blood flowing smoothly, makes the draw easier, and ensures your results are more accurate. If your test requires fasting, remember that water does not break a fast. In fact, it's the only thing you should be consuming. Another practical tip is to start hydrating the day before. Sip water throughout the afternoon and evening, especially if you tend to forget. If you're worried about nighttime bathroom trips, taper off right before bed, but don't skip water entirely. That way, when morning comes, your body is already in a better state of hydration. The takeaway is simple but powerful. Showing up hydrated means better results and a smoother experience. It spares you unnecessary stress, avoids false red flags on your kidney function, and helps the medical staff do their job with ease. For something so easy and free, it's one of the best ways seniors can prepare for a blood test. Do you usually drink water before your blood tests, or do you tend to avoid it? Share your habit in the comments. You might inspire someone else to make this simple but important change. Mistake 4, taking certain medications without asking. Now, this is a misstep that often leads to confusing or misleading blood test results. You see, many seniors take multiple prescriptions every day: blood pressure pills, cholesterol medications, vitamins, or over-the-counter pain relievers. While these are indeed important for your health, some of them can temporarily alter the very numbers your doctor is trying to measure. For example, one common culprit is biotin, a vitamin often found in hair, skin, and nail supplements. Many people don't realize that biotin can interfere with thyroid blood tests. making results look abnormal when your thyroid is actually quite healthy. This can lead to unnecessary worry or worse, unnecessary treatment. Another example is non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs or NSAIDs like ibuprofen, which can affect kidney function readings. Even aspirin taken daily for heart protection can sometimes influence certain clotting results. Cholesterol medications are another area of concern. If you take a statin late at night and have your test first thing in the morning, it may show altered liver enzyme levels. Your doctor could be led to believe there's a liver issue, when in reality, the medication timing is the reason behind the unusual numbers. But this doesn't mean you should stop taking your medications on your own. In fact, stopping some drugs suddenly, like blood pressure or heart medications, can be quite dangerous. The key here is communication. Before your scheduled test, write down every single medication and supplement you take, including the over-the-counter ones and herbal remedies. Many seniors assume that if something is natural, it doesn't count. But even natural supplements like ginseng, garlic or fish oil can affect blood clotting and other test results. Bring that list to your appointment, or better yet, call your doctor's office a few days in advance and ask if you should pause or adjust anything before the test. In many cases, your doctor will advise you to continue as usual. But for certain tests, they may recommend skipping one dose or rescheduling the timing. Having this conversation avoids confusion, prevents false alarms, and ensures your results reflect your actual health, not the influence of an outside factor. Take Clara, for instance, a woman who was being monitored for thyroid issues. She faithfully took her biotin supplement every morning along with her medications. Her blood test results suddenly showed irregular thyroid function, and her doctor began discussing treatment options. Thankfully, before starting medication, another physician asked about supplements. Once Clara stopped taking biotin for a few days and repeated the test, her results returned to normal. She avoided unnecessary treatment simply because someone asked the right question. For seniors managing multiple prescriptions, this step is especially critical. Polypharmacy, the use of several medications at once, is common later in life. While each drug has its purpose, together they can create interactions that confuse blood test readings. That's why your doctor needs a full picture of what you're taking. The solution is straightforward but powerful. Never assume your medications won't matter. Always ask. Doctors and labs are used to these questions, and they prefer you ask rather than risk misleading results. By preparing a list and confirming ahead of time, you protect yourself from unnecessary stress, repeat visits, or even misdiagnosis. The bottom line? Your medications and supplements are part of your health story, and your doctor needs the whole story to give you the right guidance. Don't let an overlooked pill or vitamin make your results look worse or better than they really are. So, do you usually tell your doctor about every supplement you take, or just the prescriptions? Share your approach. It might just help someone else avoid confusion before their next test. Mistake number 5, drinking coffee or alcohol. Now, a lot of people assume that a simple cup of coffee or a small glass of wine can't possibly affect a blood test. But honestly, both caffeine and alcohol can throw your results off in some rather surprising ways. For seniors especially, the impact can be even stronger because, well, your body processes these substances more slowly than it once did. Let's start with coffee. Even if you drink it black without any sugar or cream, caffeine still stimulates your body in ways that really matter for your test results. It raises your heart rate, affects your blood pressure, and can increase the release of stress hormones like cortisol. That might not sound too alarming at first, but when you're about to take a blood test, even these small changes can influence markers like blood sugar or certain hormone levels. For example, glucose readings might appear slightly elevated after caffeine, leading your doctor to suspect pre-diabetes or poor sugar control, even if your levels are normally just fine. Now, let's look at alcohol. Whether it's a glass of beer, wine, or something stronger, alcohol can significantly impact your liver enzymes and triglyceride levels. Since liver function and cholesterol tests are some of the most common lab requests for seniors, this can easily create a distorted picture of your health. You may appear to have liver stress or abnormal fats in your blood when in fact the only thing causing it was the alcohol you drank the night before. On top of that, alcohol is dehydrating, which thickens your blood and makes lab draws more difficult. Dehydration can also elevate kidney function markers like creatinine, making them look worse than they actually are. A common situation many seniors find themselves in is attending a family gathering or social event the night before a scheduled test. A glass of wine feels harmless and maybe even relaxing, but the next morning the lab report may tell a very different story. This could lead to your doctor scheduling more tests, ordering unnecessary scans, or even starting treatments that you didn't truly need, all because of one drink. So what's the practical solution? The safest choice is to stick with water only for at least 24 hours before your blood test. If coffee is a non-negotiable part of your morning routine, ask your doctor whether your test allows it, but in most fasting labs, caffeine should be avoided. As for alcohol, it's best to avoid it completely for at least a full day before your test, and even longer if you're having a liver panel or cholesterol check. It may feel like a small sacrifice, but think of it this way. A clear and accurate blood test is the foundation for making the right decisions about your health. By skipping that coffee or evening drink, you're ensuring your doctor sees the real picture, not a false one. Mistake number 6, stress and poor sleep. One of the most overlooked mistakes before a blood test isn't about what you eat or drink, it's about how well you rest. Stress and poor sleep can honestly have a surprisingly powerful effect on your blood test results, and many seniors don't realize just how much this matters. When you're stressed, your body produces higher levels of cortisol, the stress hormone. Cortisol is useful in small bursts because it gives your body energy to deal with challenges. But when levels are elevated before a blood test, they can make certain results appear abnormal. Cortisol directly affects blood sugar, blood pressure, and even cholesterol. That means a restless, stressful night could cause your results to look worse than they actually are. Now add poor sleep to the mix. A sleepless night doesn't just leave you tired, it can change the way your body functions in the hours that follow. Even one night of poor rest can lead to higher blood pressure readings, higher heart rate, and disrupted hormone levels. Seniors are especially sensitive to this because, natural sleep patterns already change with age. If you've ever gone to the lab after tossing and turning all night, you may have noticed your numbers didn't reflect your normal health. For example, your blood pressure may have appeared high enough for your doctor to consider medication, when in reality, it was just your body's reaction to stress and lack of rest. This can create a cycle of unnecessary worry. Imagine being told you might have high blood pressure or unstable blood sugar, only to find out later that the problem was simply poor sleep the night before. Not only does this lead to extra tests, but it can also cause emotional stress, making the problem worse the next time. So, what's the solution? The night before your blood test, aim to make rest your top priority. Create a calming routine that helps you wind down. For seniors, simple practices can make a big difference. Avoid heavy meals late at night, since digestion can disrupt sleep. Turn off screens and bright lights an hour before bedtime to signal to your body that it's time to rest. Try a short relaxation exercise like deep breathing, listening to calming music, or reading something light and positive. Keep your bedroom cool, quiet, and comfortable to encourage deeper sleep. If you struggle with anxiety about the test itself, remind yourself that preparation is already in your control. You followed the fasting rules, avoided alcohol and coffee, and planned your medications properly, so there's nothing to worry about. Treat the night before as a chance to recharge your body, not stress it further. By managing stress and prioritizing sleep, you're not only setting yourself up for more accurate test results, you're also protecting your overall health. Remember, a blood test is only useful if it reflects your true condition. Rest and calm are just as important as fasting and hydration when it comes to preparing for accurate results. Mistake number 7, scheduling at the wrong time of day. The timing of your blood test might not seem important, but it can actually play a big role in the accuracy of your results. Many seniors don't realize that certain blood values naturally fluctuate throughout the day. If your appointment is scheduled at the wrong time, you might walk away with results that look abnormal even though your health is just fine. Take hormones, for example. Cortisol, the body's main stress hormone, follows a natural rhythm. It's highest in the early morning and gradually decreases as the day goes on. If your blood is drawn late in the afternoon, cortisol levels might appear unusually low, which could confuse your doctor and lead to unnecessary follow-up tests. The same applies to thyroid hormones and other markers tied to your body's daily rhythm. Iron levels are another important example. Iron is essential for carrying oxygen in your blood, but its levels shift over the course of the day. Typically, iron levels are higher in the morning and lower in the afternoon. A test done too late in the day might make it look like you're deficient, even if you're not. This can result in extra tests or even being advised to take supplements you don't actually need. Blood sugar, kidney function markers, and certain vitamins can also show small variations depending on when the test is taken. For seniors, these small differences can have bigger consequences because doctors are often watching numbers closely to catch early changes in health. A slight shift due to timing, not illness, can lead to unnecessary concern. This is why most labs recommend scheduling your tests first thing in the morning. Not only are your hormone and iron levels more stable, but you've also likely been fasting overnight, which makes the results clearer. Morning appointments reduce the risk of inaccurate readings caused by food, activity, or natural daily fluctuations. Think about it this way. Scheduling a morning test sets the stage for consistency. If you always test at the same time of day, your results can be compared more reliably over months or years. That consistency is critical for seniors, since long-term trends tell the real story of your health far better than one random number taken at an odd time. The practical fix is simple. When your doctor orders a blood test, ask to book the earliest morning slot available. Plan ahead so you can fast overnight without feeling too uncomfortable, and bring a light snack to eat right after the test to get your energy back. This small change helps you avoid confusion, unnecessary follow-ups, and stress. By paying attention to timing, you're giving yourself the best chance for results that reflect your true health. It's not just about the test itself, it's about setting the right conditions so your body can show its most accurate picture. When it comes to blood tests, accuracy is everything. A simple mistake like sipping coffee, forgetting water, or showing up late in the day can distort results and create unnecessary stress. For seniors, that often means sitting through extra tests, taking medications that aren't truly needed, or leaving the doctor's office with more questions than answers. But here's the good news. By avoiding these 7 mistakes, you take control of your health story. Imagine walking into your appointment knowing you've prepared correctly. Instead of worrying whether your results are off, you can feel confident that what shows up on paper reflects your true health. That peace of mind means fewer misdiagnoses, less back and forth with the lab, and clearer conversations with your doctor. The real transformation is freedom. Freedom from the anxiety of false alarms, freedom from unnecessary medications, and freedom to focus on what really matters, living your life fully after 60 with clarity about your health. Each small step, fasting properly, staying hydrated, resting well, choosing the right time, adds up to big results. And the best part, you're not just improving your numbers, you're strengthening the trust between you and your doctor, making every visit more meaningful and productive. If this helped you, give it a like and share it with someone who has a blood test coming up. It could save them worry. Drop a comment if you faced one of these mistakes. And don't miss our next video on smart health tips after 60.